Hello friends, today we are going to discuss an important topic of our Indian economy, and that is external sector, or we can say it as a foreign trade. In this lecture we will try to discuss what is foreign trade, what is import, what is export, what is the trend of import export, or that is called as foreign trade of our economy. Let's start. So first of all, we will try to understand what is foreign trade. Firstly, Professor G.L. Hansen said that an exchange of various specialized commodities and services rendered among the corresponding countries is known as foreign trade. So what is foreign trade? It is exchange of. So what is foreign trade? It is exchange of various specialized commodities and services among corresponding countries. Means exchange of commodities means goods and services among corresponding countries, means it is exchange of goods and services between the countries. It is called as foreign trade. Means a product which is made in other country that is exporting in other countries, or a product which is made in other country and which is imported by our country, this is called as foreign trade. It means that if a product is made in the country and it is exporting, or it is transforming in another state, then this is not called as foreign trade. Foreign trade, to make it as a foreign trade, we must exchange that product across the border or the between the countries. So this is called as foreign trade. Or in simple term, foreign trade is all about import and export. Means whatever the goods and services that we import, and whatever goods and services that we export, this is called as foreign trade. Or the backbone of any foreign trade between the nation is those products and services which are being traded to some other location outside a particular country's border. It means if any trade that is to be considered as a foreign trade, that goods and services must exchange across the border or the outside the boundary of the country. So this is called as foreign trade. So any product that is made outside our country and that is imported in our country, this is also called as foreign trade. Or any product that is made in our country and that we are exporting in another country, then this activity or this exchange is also called as foreign trade. So foreign trade, it must be import and export, and it must be across the border of the various countries. So this is called as foreign trade. So next, what are the types of the foreign trade? Then first is import, then is export, and third one is re-export. Mostly we know about the import, export, but many of the time or in the currently after the globalization, the re-export, this type of the trade is also in the news. So let's discuss what is import, what is export, and what is re-export. So imports means importing the purchasing of goods and services made in another country. Means such type of the goods that are made in another country and that is coming to our country, then that goods and services are called as import. So for example, here I have given an example: importing iPhones from American producer to sell in India. Means iPhone, iPhone is an American company and that is made in USA and that is coming to India. So that iPhone which is coming to India is import for us, import for Indian economy. So means any objects or any goods or any services that is made outside the boundaries of our Indian economy, that is called as, or that product when comes to India, this product is called as import. So I have given the example of the iPhone. You can say give the example of many other products. For example, any automobiles made in outside country. Takes example of Mercedes or any big automobiles that is importing from other country to India, means that is made outside our country and that is coming to India, then it is called as a import. Exporting is selling domestic made goods in another country. Now it is exactly opposite to the import. Means the product is made in our country and we are exchanging or we are selling that product outside our country's border, this is called as export. For example, exporting footwears, garments made in Maharashtra to the western countries. Maharashtra is a state in India. So whatever products, take the footwear or take the example of the garments that is made in our country and we are exporting or we are selling outside our country's boundary, then this is called as export. Now let's move towards the re-export. What is re-export? So first of all we will try to understand its definition and then we will go for its example. So re-export is when goods are imported from foreign country, means firstly that goods is coming from foreign country, means we are importing it, and are re-exported to the buyers in some other foreign country. Means firstly we import that products, import that goods or any services, and we try to process them, and then another, then nextly we also export that product to the another country. So this is called as re-export. For example, a firm or ready-made garments located at EPZ, that is import raw material from Korea and produces ready-made garment product by Indian company, and then those product export to the Canada. Means for example, EPZ is a export processing zones. Here, this is a new, this is a, we can say it as a area in a country where foreign countries or where the foreign exporter or foreign businessman can set up their business, and they can import the raw material, they process them and they export that material. So this is called as EPZ. So re-export is basically, here firstly we import the goods, we make the process or we do some processing activity there, and we later export that product. Means that product is actually made in another country, but it is coming in our country, means in the second country, and later it is exporting in the third country. So generally it is re-export. Re-exports means we are re-exporting that product. Means for example, here we say that we are importing cotton from the Korea, and we are making, we are processing them and we are making the garments, and that garment is exporting to the Canada. So this is called as re-export. Means in the foreign trade currently, most of the products are imported products, then some products we also export. So export and re-exports means in some of the products we buy the raw materials or we bring the means the product from other country, we process them and then we export to the other country. This is called as re-export. So currently foreign trade contains three types or three types, that is the import, second is export, and third is a re-export. So nextly we will see importance of the foreign trade. So many a times we see means foreign trade is very much important, foreign trade is very much important. So why foreign trade is very much important? So firstly we will see the means we will see the foreign importance of the foreign trade. So for any country, like its businesses of the country, what matter means the businesses of the country or the business environment of the country matters the economy of that country. Similarly the foreign trade also matters that country's economy, because firstly foreign trade has a significant impact on the GDP growth and expansion. Foreign trade has significant impact on GDP growth as well as its expansion. So basically foreign trade, what do foreign trade? That will impact the GDP growth as well as expansion. For example, after the 1990s LPG reform in our country, in the coming slide we are going to discuss the how the trade of our country increases after the LPG reform. So firstly try to understand the importance. Firstly is the impact of the GDP growth. Means how, means like the businesses, goods and services made in our country is a part of our economic activity. Similarly the goods and services that are made outside our country that we import, that also affect our GDP growth. So how it affect our GDP growth? Because in the coming slide we are going to discuss it, but currently just understand that it impacts the GDP growth. Means whatever the trade, whatever the foreign trade country has, it's impact the GDP growth. For example, in 1990s foreign trade contributes around 6 to 7% during 1990s to Indian economy, but currently in 2023-24 economic survey says that around 45.9 percentage of our GDP is contributed by the foreign trade. So whatever the GDP expansion has happened, this is mostly due to the means the domestic economy, but also the foreign trade has also contributed to the expansion of, means from 6 to 7% to 45.9% is contribution from the foreign trade is making the contribution to the Indian GDP, and that GDP is also expanding. We will see in the coming slide. Next is, it has been effective mechanism for financial growth, then the creation of the job opportunities, and the poverty reduction in the economy. So nextly, foreign trade is very much important for the financial growth. Means, for example, we know that foreign capital is very much important for our country, because our saving rate as well as the investment rate is very low. Means around 30% is the saving rate, and 34-35% is the saving rate. So if we have foreign trade, or if we are dealing with the foreign countries, then the foreign capital also comes to in our country, and that will helps in the financial growth. Later, the creation of the job. Any foreign country or any foreign firm establishes their company in our country, then that firms creates the jobs in our economy, and for that is the job creation. For example, let's say iPhone is now opening its branch in Chennai. Production unit is going to open in Chennai. So that in that production unit, there will be creation of the job, and the job opportunities will be increases. Thirdly is the poverty reduction. If jobs are getting to the people, then they will get the fixed income or the salary, and that salary or that money is very much important in the reduction of the poverty. So how foreign trade is impacting the financial growth, creation of the opportunities, and poverty reduction, we have seen. Thirdly, foreign trade result in the proper use of resources of the country, then making available necessary inputs for industrialization, providing outlets of the surplus production, and earning much needed foreign exchange. So in step by step we will discuss. Firstly, proper use of resources of the country. For example, in our country, earlier we used to import the lithium ion, or the lithium that is necessary for the electronic vehicles or e-vehicles. That is, the lithium battery is very much important for the e-vehicles. So initially, or in last some years, we are importing the lithium ions. But when we got to know that lithium is also present in our Jammu Kashmir, in the Rajarshi district, currently we have explored it. So means due to the foreign trade, we have more import of the lithium ion. So our import cost of the lithium ion was increasing, and the import due to the import rising import cost, the prices of the e-vehicle was also high. So we tried to explore the lithium ion in our country, and we found the lithium ion. So it is mean that lithium was there in our country, but it is come into the picture when the importance of the lithium come in the international trade, because every country is going to for e-mobility. So that time we realized the potential of our resources, and now we are trying to explore that lithium ion, and in the coming years we are we will use that lithium ion for the battery making and for the electrical vehicles. So proper usage of the resource of the country, then the making the available necessary input for industrialization. A best example is Japan. In the steel production, currently China is the highest production capacity, then India, and third is the Japan. So third is the Japan has no any iron ore cores, iron ores minerals, or they don't have any such natural resources. So what they do, they import the raw material, they process them, and they export the steel. So this is available necessary inputs for industrialization. So Japanese economy is based means Japan is the currently world third largest economy after USA, China, and then third is Japan, and fourth is Germany. So Japan is the third I think third or fourth largest economy. So it is basically import the raw material, process them, and export the industrial goods. So available necessary input for the industrialization, foreign trade, importance of the foreign trade. Then it is providing outlet to the surplus production. Surplus production for means to export the surplus production, we need to engage with the foreign countries, or foreign trade is important. Say for example, in our country currently we produce around 315 million ton of rice and wheat. So it is around 2 to 3 times of our population need. So what we do, that surplus produce we export in international market. For example, currently we are exporting basmati rice. Then also after the Russia Ukraine war, we are also exporting our wheat in the international market. Means to providing outlet to the surplus, means whatever the product or the what wheat rice, if we keep in our country, one day it will go into vein, or it will got rotten. So instead that we if the we are engaging in the foreign trade, then it will get the outlet for the surplus production for outside the country. So last is earning much needed foreign exchange. So in means whatever the import and export we do in our country, means to import we have to give the foreign currency, and for whatever the goods and services we export, we will get the foreign exchange. Because in the international market, foreign trade is done in the dollar, euro, yen, yuan, and sterling pound. But we know for international trade, dollar is major currency. Dollar is necessary for the import, and if we export, then we will get the dollar. So to earn the foreign exchange, we must engage in the foreign trade. In 1991, India faced the foreign currency or forex crisis, or the foreign crunch, because our foreign trade was around 6 to 7% of our GDP, which is very much less. So we were importing very less less. We were importing a huge amount of the items, and we were exporting very less. So we don't have any foreign. We were have the foreign reserve only for next 15 days, and that financial crisis came during the 1991. So after that, in 2023, our foreign exchange is around 634 billion, and which is around 11 months import cover. Means whatever the foreign cover, foreign exchange today we have, it can import the items for next 11 months. So this is a good stage. And what why we are reach at this good stage? Because we have increased our foreign trade. And I have already said that currently our 45.9% of the foreign trade contribute to our GDP. And lastly, the importance of the foreign trade is that it helps the country to deal with periods of natural calamities like droughts, flood, etc., through import of the food grains and other necessary consumer goods. So best example is India. When we have a drought, a severe drought during 1964, 65, 66, and at that time we were in the food crisis. So at that time, our the respective Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri imported the wheat from the USA under the PL 480 schemes. So why foreign trade is important? Because at the natural calamities time like drought, flood, we can import the whatever the necessary items we are needed. And we must remember, during the COVID time, we have exported the life drugs or life saving drugs to many other countries during the COVID-19. Means India exported the necessary items during the COVID-19. So foreign trade is very much important, because we during the natural calamities, when our country is insufficient of the items that are needed to our people, at that time we can import the product, or sometimes we have the extra items, then we can export that product to the world. So foreign trade is very much important in terms of the impact, as it impacts the GDP growth as well as expansion of economy. Nextly, effective mechanism for the financial growth. As I said, foreign capital comes to our country. Then creation of the job. Example, foreign firm establish a firm in our country and creates the job. And poverty reduction. If the people get jobs, then poverty will reduce. Then the foreign trade is also important for the proper usage of the natural resources, or the earning the foreign exchange, or inputs for the industrialization and outlet for the surplus production. And very important, most important is that during the natural calamities, a country helps the another country. For example, during the Nepal earthquake, India provided basic needs to the Nepal. For example, provided drinking water. During the Maldives crisis, India provided drinking water to the Maldives. So during the natural calamities, foreign countries can help to you. Then the next, so this is some data of foreign trade, means trend in the import and export. So import and export is of two type. Imports, we import the services as well as goods, and exports, we export goods as well as the services. So let's see. In 1991-92, export of the goods was around $18 billion, and export in the services was $4.5 billion. Imports in the goods was around $24 billion. Imports in the services was around $3 billion, and total import was $27 billion, and total export was $22 billion. So this is the 1991 data, and this is the data of the 2023 and 24. In 2023 and 24, we export goods around $450 billion. In 1991, we export goods around $18 billion, and in 2023-24 financial year, we export goods of around $450 billion, and it is the highest till 2023 and 24. So same year we exported services around $4.5 billion in 1991-92, and in the 2023 and 24 financial year we exported around $325 billion services. So next is similarly, or the imports of the goods in 1991-92, it was around $24 billion, but here look, it is around the 716 billion dollar. Similarly, import of the goods was around $118 billion in 2023, and that was in 1991-92, it was around the $3 billion. And total import of 2023 and 24 was around $989 billion, and export was around $776 billion. Means import was more than export in 2023 and 24. Similarly, here also import was more than the export in our country. So it is the situation of balance of trade, or we can say it as the current account deficit. We can also called it as. So means on one side our export is also increasing, our import is also increasing. So this will be we will see it in from the graphics. So here it is one graph. In graph, let's see, this is the blue line shows the export, and the white line shows the import. So in 1991, as the data earlier I produced in front of you, that is represented in the graph form. So you will see the blue line, that is the export line, is also increasing. Means this line is also increasing, and the import line is also increasing. Means on one hand our import is also increasing, on other hand our export is also increasing, but you will see import is more than the export. Just in around 2005, 2004 and 5, the import and export was similar, or our economy was surplus at that time. But later that our import has been increasing very fastly, and also the export is also increasing very fastly. So it is not the situation that like import is increasing very high and export is increasing very slowly. So this is not the case with India. Our import is also increasing, but with respect to that our export is also increasing. So this is a good situation, we can say it as. Means for example, in 2023 and 24, as I said, import was around 819, means around $1900 billion, and also export was around $776 billion, means around $125 billion trade deficit was in 23 and 24, and that is sufficient. As I say, forex of our country is currently around $600 billion. So this is sufficient to manage the deficit. So for nextly we will see what is the import. Means in the import, as I say, there are services import and goods import, but you will see goods contribution in the import is very high, and service contribution in the import is very less. Means currently our economy is going through such a phase where we import more number of the goods and we import less number of the services, and conversely, and in the opposite, we export more services and we export less goods. So this is in the import. We will see goods, we import more number of the goods and we import very less number of the services. And in the export section, we will see that services export is more than the goods export. So because we know that in Indian economy currently the service sector contributes more, and that is also true with respect to the foreign trade. So trends in our Indian economy or trends in the foreign trade, we can say it as, with the rise in the import, rise in the export also, means there is a rise in also export also. But with respect to the import and export, import of the goods are high as compared to the imports of the services. But in terms of the export, services export is high as compared to the export of the goods. So uh, from this side you will get the that graphs. And thank you for this lecture, and in the next lecture we will discuss the composition as well as the trends in the foreign trade.